Oncology as we know it probably began in the early part of the 20th century. And people really, physicians and scientists really started looking at cancer, and they really started looking at how they could approach the treatment of cancer. Let's fast forward, if you will, over the next several decades, we were going to really make some advancements, and indeed we have. But the advancements that we've made have been, for the most part, because of research. And clinical trials are indeed research, trying to either determine whether one drug is better than the other, one surgical technique is better than the other. All those things have come about as a result of clinical trials.
Almost 3 years ago, I was diagnosed with colon cancer, and they told me about the trials for the additional medication. And at that time, my head said to go ahead and try anything that's going to be positive and make sure that this thing is taken care of and out of my system and done with. So I said yes.
I was diagnosed with cancer, and it was so devastating that I had a heart attack. That's how much fear, how much was going on in my life. At first, I was sort of reluctant. You hear all these horror stories about taking drugs and being a guinea pig and all of that, but it just dawned on me that if everybody else is going to try to save my life, then I better do something about trying to save it too.
About 6 months ago, I was diagnosed with breast cancer. The clinical trial, I was asked to think about it. They gave me some information on it, asked me to read up on it and come back and see if I would participate. They strongly suggested that I do because they needed African Americans to take part in. It's such a wonderful process, I think. It's much needed.
Many years ago, African Americans were very reluctant to participate in clinical trials. And they were very reluctant to participate in clinical trials because they were not treated fairly in some instances. Fortunately, we now have protection so that each individual who decides to participate in a clinical trial is protected by many, many layers of individuals who constantly review clinical trials so that at the end of the day, when we finish with this research, we hopefully can say what the results were.
Quite frankly, it was not an easy decision for us. But to the extent that, in talking with my wife about it, I allowed her really to make the decision.
I felt the need that I had to do this. I really felt strongly because I do have 2 grown daughters, and if I could save them from going through what I had to go through, then I wanted to do that.
Then began to talk about the whole issue of clinical trials and what that would mean, not only for her but for others.
In order for us to make progress in treatment of cancer or diagnosis of cancer or prevention of cancer, clinical trials are necessary. Every drug that's been developed in the recent past has come through the clinical trials pathway. And any drug that's going to be used in the future is going to come through the clinical trials pathway.
I recently lost my dad to cancer, October 20th of 2002. His was aggressive. It was small cell cancer, it was lung cancer. But also, like I said, I have 2 daughters. And cancer is an ugly thing. I wanted to take this ugly disease that was growing in my body, I wanted to make something positive out of it.
The biggest motivating factor for me was that I didn't want to have it anymore. I didn't want to have cancer anymore. I wanted to make sure that I was using all of my options to try to limit this or eliminate it from my body.
The treatments that I was taking, they was working, but they only work for so long. You're going to take chemo so long. You're going to take radiation so long. And at that point, something had to be done because I almost had exhausted all my other options or going back into remission or getting healed. It was just an option, like a last option, really, to put myself together and still be here to talk to you now.
patients who decide to participate in clinical trials, number one, receive state-of-the-art care.
I felt that from my discussion with the physician and with his staff that they were giving me the best option that I possibly could have.
Because I chose to take part in this clinical trial, I truly believe I received the best treatment there is to have.
It's been outstanding. It's been it's an emotional thing, yeah. Overall, our only thing I can say, it's been fantastic. It's been great. It's been wonderful just to see him now than where he was. The medical treatment has been outstanding. Very, very good.
I prayed about it, and I thought I needed to do this because there's no way they're going to find out unless there's people like us that do, step to the plate and say, yes, I'm willing to do this.
Well, I watched and observed my wife, and she has an awful lot of courage. I thank her for that, because through her courage, it empowered me more.
First of all, I would tell them to discuss it with their family like I done. Because I'm the one with the cancer, there's a lot of other people that's involved with my sickness as support people. And, they feel bad too, so you got to think about them also. And I would say talk it over with your family. And if you happen to have a church or something where you got a minister or a pastor, talk it over with him. But the final decision is going to be yours, because it's your life and it's a chance that you're taking. I would say do it and have faith in it. And have faith in the people that administered to you.
I would like to thank the people who've done the clinical trials prior to me and participated from it, because I benefited from them, and I'm eternally grateful for the course.
As far as the trials were concerned, when I started the trials and all during the process, they explained to me that if I ever wanted to get out of it, I knew it from the beginning that all I had to do is say I don't want it anymore. And there were several times when I wanted to say, I've had enough of this because it hurts. But you just kind of grit your teeth and grit and bear it and deal with it, because it's not going to last forever. But death from cancer will.